Good morning. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. I am at the bottom of the stairs, but it's a slightly different angle. There's the books. What I'm going to do today, I thought about this for, I've been thinking about this for a little while. I have this stack. A lot of this is rereads or books that I started and didn't get around to finishing. And it's just not thrilling me. And so what I saw other booktubes do in the past, did that make sense? What I saw other booktubes do was to read a chapter, the very first chapter, and see whether they wanted to persist with that book. And for a lot of them, they were books that were on their shelves that they hadn't even started, and they were not rereads. But I thought, it's kind of the same thing. Do I want to invest time into rereads when they're not thrilling me right now? I don't think they're not going to disappear. They'll just go to a different shelf. And then as time goes by, I'll just pull one, hither and thither. But to have the bulk of this shelf be rereads, it's just not working for me. So I'm without you seeing, I'm going to the books that I haven't read at all that are definitely on my to-do list. I'm just going to save because you want a bit of a surprise. And how am I going to do this? Okay, so The Far Pavilion, I have read the first chapter and I did recall it, but did I enjoy it? So what I'm going to do is for The Far Pavilion is read chapter 2 and see whether I want to persist, because it's a big one. And I don't know, big books are just, it's hard to do as a video content because it can take me 2 or 3 weeks, and then what have I got to talk to you guys? So this kind of book has to go in the background. But so chapter 2, let's see if I really like it. And so then there's another category of books that I've started but not finished, and that's the Fairy Tale Fan Club, which I'm really enjoying. It belongs on my bedside table, but other things happened. So I have Flannery by Lisa Moore, and a Canadian author, and I have read this, and I'm not sure why it's back on my shelf. So got to read the first chapter. Thistlefoot is a book that I started last summer, and I don't even remember now why. Something happened, and I just couldn't concentrate, and this is a book that you need to concentrate on. So I'm pretty sure I didn't stop because I was bored. I stopped because of some sort of circumstances. But I'm going to have to start from the beginning because it's been almost 18 months since I read it. Going back to what I just yacked about. Wilkie Collins, The Moonstone. This has been recommended to me over and over from different channels and a couple of people in my life. And it's a Victorian sensation fiction focusing on a yellow diamond looted from an Indian temple. I just have a feeling. So I'm going to read the first chapter and do as I said. If I've already read it, then it can go upstairs and boom, bada bing. Okay, good night, Mr. Moon. I have seen the movie. I don't know if I have read the book. I have a feeling, but it's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful story, and it is kind of heart-wrenching. It's too bad because, the ending is really, it's really just so lovely. But in the middle, it's very sad. So it unfortunately cannot go on my very small pile of books about, every year I do books that don't crush your soul. So I'm due to do part 4. It's just a little too heart-wrenching to fit in that category. So do I want to read it or do I want to just remember it? John Steinbeck, Grapes of Wrath. I know I want to reread this, but it's also one of those books that is just going to be gut-wrenching. I'm pretty sure it's pretty sad. Now this one is chapters are only 2 or 3 pages long, so I'm going to commit to 50 pages. And what I'm going to do after I've read each book, and then I will get back to you, and it'll be kind of a choppy video. I will tell you whether I'm going to proceed or whether I'm going to abandon ship. Now I have some nonfiction. Oh no, I'm not done. Sorry. I have, is this book one? The Susan Cooper The Dark is Rising. It's more than a trilogy. It's a fiveopolis. I don't remember which one is first. I think it's Oversea and Understone, but I'll find out. So that's a reread, but I never read the whole series. So do I want to commit to the whole series? I'm going to figure out which one is book one and then see if I can make a commitment to the whole series. But that would be a fun one for the summer. Okay, the other one I talked about, I think around Christmas time, is Kevin Crossley Holland wrote the series of Arthur. And At the Crossing Places is book one, I believe. No, that's the second one. The Seeing Stone. Yes. I really enjoyed it. It looks like it's a big commitment, but the printing's big, the spacing's big. It's a middle grade series, and those usually go pretty quick with me. So, again, chapter 1, first book. Everything else, everything else is, as I'm moving all these books around, I'm finding all my missing bookmarks. I wondered, I mean, I've got some beautiful bookmarks. Isn't that pretty? That's Fredericton, New Brunswick. I have some others that are like really just as pretty, but they get lost. I don't know about you guys. I end up treating my bookmarks as if they're jewelry. Put them in this like very clever little spot where they won't get damaged, and then use envelopes for bookmarks. So that brings us back down to like a sensible pile of books that I actually want to get to. But that's not 100% the truth either, because I have a couple of books that kind of have come to me in those little book libraries. So I have 3 that I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not sure I want to be committed to these books. This is a Book of Dragons, edited by Roger Lancelyn Green, and I believe they are a selection of the very best dragon stories from the time of the ancient Greeks to the present day, chosen by the author King Arthur and his knights. So, can you see that? Whoop. No, that didn't work. Sorry to... There we go. Theoretically, it might make a really good bedtime book when I'm finished the fairy tales. This is a medieval mystery from the Little Library, and Sharon K. Penman writes The Dragon's Lair. And it seemed like a good idea at the time. And this I picked up from the sidewalk. It's a really nice book. Old Farmers, Old Gardeners, and Old Pastorals. Wet Days at Edgewood. There's nothing there. And there's nothing in the title page. It's a very undesigned book, but it just seemed kind of fun. What has he got here? Yeah, so he's got some theories about how to plant. So that's actually agricultural planting. So I don't know about this one. It's a real mystery in that regard. Then also Anne Savage, The Story of a Canadian Painter. I think that might be fun to take up to the camp and it's a complete, I don't know how it even got in my hands. I think Steve rescued this off the sidewalk. So I think I'm just put that one in the camp pile and we'll see what happens. What else have I got here? Well, okay, I think that's it. So you will see me next time. I am reading A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr, which is a reread, it turns out. And I will tell you what I think in the next little excerpt. So this is going to be a bit patchy. Hope you like it. Bye. I've read 30 pages of A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr. And after having read 30 pages, which is about equivalent to 2 chapters, I've decided to keep going. It is definitely a book I have read once, and not that long ago, just I think probably in that little period of time where I wasn't keeping good records of what I read and didn't read. So I'm going to pursue this book, and I'll get back to you with the next one. Okie dokie, so I've just finished 28 pages of The Grapes of Wrath, and it's really intriguing. I mean, I do know that I have read this once, maybe even twice before, but Steinbeck has set this up so that we meet Joad, J-O-A-D. I don't know if he's the main protagonist, but he's the first protagonist. And Joad is walking along a dusty, early Depression, dust storm, country road. I'm not sure what state that he's in, but a Dust Bowl state. And Joad is heading home. He's been 4 years in prison, and he's encountered so far a truck driver that he's hitched a ride from, an old man that he's talking, who used to be a preacher, that he's talking to under a tree, and a poor old turtle. And he doesn't know too much about what's waiting for him at home. So definitely set up as a journey quest situation. And the writing, oh my goodness, you know, it was describing the old turtle. And the old turtle is trying to climb up an embankment and get onto the concrete road, I guess. And I was so tense. Was the turtle going to make it? And then the turtle nearly gets hit by a car, and then does it get hit by a truck? And it's just like, oh my God, this turtle's life. And I don't know, it was maybe 4 pages where the turtle is part of the story. And I was just like, whoa, that is so well written. I mean, I really feel the turtle's struggle to get across the road. So I'm going to continue reading this, putting in the pile of stuff that I'm definitely going to keep on my to-read pile. And I think I'm going to go after that series, that 5-book series. Who's the author? Is that Susan Cooper? Maybe it's Susan Cooper. I'm not sure. Anyways, I'll be back. Okay, I'm bringing book number 3 to you guys. It is Over Sea and Understone by Susan Cooper, book 1 in the Dark is Rising sequence. And I don't love the cover. Do you love the cover? I don't know. It's just everybody's eyeline is not actually where it's supposed to go. Anyhow, the kids have gone to a small town, Treswick, I think it's called, in Cornwall, with a great uncle Mary, who is a professor, it seems like possibly of archaeology. And they're in this small town of in Cornwall. It's a beach, like a harbor type of fishing place, and they've discovered it isn't exactly a map and it isn't exactly instructions. They found some kind of old parchment, and I guess this is going to be the trigger point for the story. There's a beautiful yacht that's come into play, and they've been invited aboard. So lots of good stuff happening. Jane, the girl, so far doesn't really serve any purpose, but luckily, unlike Swallows and Amazon, she is not relegated to doing the dishes and making tea. So we'll see if she becomes a stronger character than currently. So currently, I do like this. I am going to stick with it. I think it'll make a great summertime at the camp read. You know, I do like to binge a series, so I think that's perfect. Okay, the next thing I'm going to hunker down and read is the The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins, which, as I've said, I just have a feeling I have read. So the other thing I was... Right, Moonfleet. No, I'm sorry, Moonstone. There's a book called Moonfleet. Steve and I did it as a read aloud, and it was pretty interesting. Very heavily into the dialect of the time, and very sort of convoluted sentences. But it was a good story, lots of adventure and lots of tension, and that was one of the reasons why I thought maybe I had read this one. Kept getting the two titles mixed up, but one of the other reasons I was a little concerned about reading this was I thought, oh, I wonder if it's going to be the same. Archaic is the wrong word. Vernacular kind of writing, where the sentences are fairly, crisscrossy. Anyhow, it's not. This is the sentences are very plausible. They're very straight ahead. The language is easy. At the moment, there isn't any kind of deep vernacular happening. And, excuse me, we are following the journeys of the Yellow Diamond or the Moonstone Diamond. Their names are a little interchangeable, which is a touch confusing. But I'm on page 33, but that isn't actually true because the book doesn't even start until page 11, I think, yeah. And because there's a preface and a foreword and then a contemporary foreword, and so there's a lot of pages before you even get to the beginning. I read about 30 pages, and I'm going to keep going. I really enjoy it, and it may or may not be a reread, but it's far enough in my past that if I hit a point where it is a reread, I think it's going to be so tenuous that I'm just going to be able to slide over it. It's a bit like sometimes you watch a movie for a second or third time, and if you watch it for a second time, for sure, you're thinking, did I see this? Didn't I see? If you watch it for the third time and you don't remember, okay, go to the doctors. But so I'm going to just read this as, excuse me, I'm going to read it as first time read. And so it puts it into a different position. I'm going to put it into the summer pile of books I'm really keen to read. Sorry about that, gang. And so that takes one book out of the reread pile. Thinking about rereads and series, I made a decision while I was lying in bed last night, I made a decision about the entirety of this pile. First of all, I'm moaning and complaining of about 10 books, if maybe even, let's say 12 books, partly because one of the series has 5 books and one of the series has 3 books. So it's not really that many books on my reread pile. But thinking about it, I thought, this is a quest story. And it's taking place in the Middle Ages. It's a middle grade reader book. And I do like a middle grade reader, and I do like binging. But I've got the Susan Cooper series that I'm going to binge this summer. And traditionally in the summer, I also read the Tony Hillerman series, working my way towards the end. Quite often I pick up a Dick Cotterill series, and I think I'm all caught up on my Terry Pratchett series, but I love a Terry Pratchett in the summer. So that's already 3 books that I've identified, plus my book club books, which one book club doesn't meet over the summer. So that will be 2 other books per month. So that's whatever the math is on that. So I've decided I'm going to put this series aside and read it in the winter. Partly because the story takes place, a lot of it in the Middle East, around Jerusalem and maybe Spain. I can't remember exactly, but I thought, oh, okay, that's going to be a warm me up. The climate in the book is going to warm me up. So I thought, oh, it's a fireplace book. The other one that is absolutely a fireplace book is Goodnight, Mr. Tom. And I've said before, I think that this might be a book that doesn't crush your soul, except for a certain section where something really sad happens to the kids. So I'm thinking about whether this fits in that category, but I'm not going to do that till the fall. And so again, this becomes a fall winter book. Flannery was given to me by someone who knew I had enjoyed reading Lisa Moore, but I have already read this, and I thought, oh, I could reread this. I could, yeah, but no, I don't want to. I mean, that wasn't my decision. That was someone else's decision. So, no, I don't have to do that. And so that leaves me with, after I finish Moonstone, that leaves me with one book. And this is a concentration book. As in, you need to pay attention. I need to pay attention. There are a lot of really subtle magical things happening in here. The magic isn't, abracadabra. It's a folk tale kind of, you've entered into a world that you didn't realize you've entered in, but things are slightly askew, just enough to kind of make you think something's wrong. Wait, what's going on? So I'm going to definitely reread this. I don't want to read chapter 1 and then put it on the back burner until I'm ready to pay attention to it, because then it's going to be like a saga. Does that make sense? Yeah. So my decision making on all of these books is this is going to wait till August. This is an August book when I can just sit down and read nonstop. And where to go? Moonstone. Didn't I just have it in my hands, guys? I just had it in my hands, and I'm sitting on the stairs, and I haven't gone anywhere, and it's gone. How does that happen? There's nothing between my legs. Oh, I put it in the new pile. Right. Okay. So in terms of reread, that just leaves me with 4 going forward, and I'm going to continue reading Oversea and Under Sky. They're right at my feet. That's why I'm looking down at the ground. And the John Steinbeck, I did really enjoy. I am going to put that into the summer pile. Far Pavilions, because it's so big, what I'm going to do, I think, is I have 2 more. I have 2 books on my bedside table, and once they're done, it's going to become a bedside table book, and it's just perfect for, a chapter just before turning out the lights, and who knows how long that will take me to read. Some night, I think that kind of brings me to the end of this little project. Other YouTubers who've done this have had like a wonking pile of books. So I have certainly not done what they've done in terms of volume, but I have found a pretty cheeky little way of figuring out how to get through my pile of stuff and not feel burdened by it. And I have a couple of friends on YouTube who do have massive, big books lists, and I'm thinking maybe they should try this. Just choose 10 or 15 books and see whether they really want to go for this. I mean, that's a legitimate way to reduce your to be read pile. Although for some people, it's not a stressor to have a big pile of books waiting for them. I'm fine if I haven't read them before. But it's these rereads that have sort of choked things up a little bit. So I will continue to read that one book, and next week, I think if everything goes well, it's June. Actually, it's already been June for 10 days. But June for me is Newbery month, and so I like to read the current winners of the Newbery Award, and I've been catching up all the books that I haven't read. So I'm cleaning up year 2011. So I've got about 10 Newbery books on the horizon. I'm very excited about it. And for those of you who don't know, the Newbery Award is for middle grade books, mostly American. Now, I don't pay as much attention to the Canadian ones. I keep saying I'm going to, but Yeah, I guess I just have to dedicate a month to Canadian middle grade books. Eh? That's a plan. That's a plan. Okay, I hope all your reading dreams and adventures continue to come true, and I will see you next week with Newberry Books. Bye bye for now.